Depth chart for Fiji, folks, for their 2025 season. First time we've done a depth chart for Fiji. I usually just stick to the Rugby Championship teams and the Six Nations sides, but Fiji, man, you've got one fan who's been asking me on every other team's depth chart video, do Fiji, do Fiji, do Fiji. And that got me thinking I probably should do Fiji. They're ranked above some of the other teams that I do depth charts on. So let's go through Fiji's season for 2025. What are the players they used? How many minutes was kind of each guy getting? Where is the depth looking strong and maybe a little bit light? And you guys can let us know your thoughts. Having had a look at the squad now, there's certainly more kind of key first choice players in the Fijian squad than some other teams. Some other teams don't invest as many minutes into the first choice guy. Also, there seems to be a bit more depth in the backs than the forwards, which maybe you probably didn't need me to tell you, because Fijian rugby is they got good forwards and backs, but it's more famous for its backs than its forwards. And also, interestingly, there seems to be a core of this squad who's between 26 and 29 years old, which is very encouraging ahead of the next Rugby World Cup. Let's start with loose head prop. You've got Ironi Maui as your first choice guy with about 48% of the game time, and he's got a good 1-2 combo with Hetet, who's got 44%. So between these two guys, you've got your vast majority of the minutes for Fiji. There's no real third choice guy there. There is Sokobale, the 20-year-old who got just over 40 minutes of rugby, and then there was Tuni as well, who had very token minutes, but it's mainly Maui and Hetet. If either of those guys get injured, you are relying on the youngster. Also, remember, Fiji don't get as much game time. They get fewer games than most of the other teams that we're looking at, so it is less of a chance to build depth. But yeah, you certainly have two very good starters in Maui and Hetet. Hooker, it's all about Tevita Ikanaveri, the Fijian and Drua captain, Fiji captain, getting 80% of the game time. It's very similar to what Argentina do with Montoya, who's their captain, their hooker. Tevita Ikanaveri gets a start pretty much every game. You've got Togitama there as well, who gets a few minutes here and there off the bench, and you've got the veteran Matsavesi, who's had a little bit of game time. And you had the other guy, Tagiva Tua, against, I think, Spain, who got like on the field for a minute and immediately gave away a yellow card. So Tevita Ikanaveri is certainly your guy. And then tight head prop, the profile is a little bit older because Ndongia is the first choice guy at tight head prop with close to 60% of the minutes. So if you lose him, you are looking a little bit lighter on depth. Tawake is the second choice. But interestingly, they got this guy, Tim Hoyt, the 22-year-old, who's made his debut for Fiji in 2025. So he's a potential encouraging one for the future. Got a couple of games in November. Penny Ravai, the veteran, also had a little bit of game time, but at 35 years old is more at the end of his career than at the start. Locks, you have three key guys in the locks. Loose head lock, it's just the two. It's Nasilasila and Vose Vose. Just those two guys. They're the only two guys to have played. They're both in their 20s, both big units. So I think they're both very good players. It might be nice to have a third guy in the mix. And then tight headlock, Maiana Vanua gets, again, similar to Ikanaveri at hooker, close to 80% of the game time. Nasilasila has also played there a little bit. And Turunga Thoke has also played a little bit there as well. But three guys, Nasilasila, Vothe Vothe, and Maiana Vanua. If you miss any of those guys, the Fijian locking stocks are looking a bit thin. But with those three guys there playing the majority of the minutes, they are looking pretty comfortable. Loose forwards, there's more depth than props and locks. I think that's pretty fair to say. If we look at number 6, Blindside, Wanga is there with 43% of the minutes. That guy's only 26. He's part of this core of guys who are under 30. Tangi Valu is there. Soakula is there. Vothe Vothe also played on the blind side in that final game against Spain. And then Salawa has also played a little bit of game time on the blind side. So it's kind of more of a, I don't want to say even mix, but it's more of a depth chart in terms of first choice, second choice, third choice, and like the backups have all had a bit of game time as opposed to like loose head lock where it's literally two guys. Openside is a little bit more like first choice very big gap, and then the other two, because Thanakai Vata has had 82% of the minutes, and he's played number 8 as well. He has been hugely important for Mick Byrne this year in 2025. He's still under 30 as well. Salawa has been the second choice guy there, and Murray, Motikai Murray has been there as your third choice. But yeah, Thanakai Vata is certainly one of the key men. And then number 8 is an interesting mix because Viliame Mata is the first choice with over 60% of the game time, but he's like 34 and potentially could be one of the guys transitioning out before the World Cup. I'm not sure. At 34, he can still keep going for sure. 36 at the next World Cup. Still can for sure go strong. Thanakai Vata is their second choice. Soakula got his debut this year as well, so he's had a bit of time on the flank and at number 8. You feel like Soakula might get a bit more game time next year. Then Motukai Murray and Albert Tuisui, another one of the veterans, also had a little bit of game time at number 8 as well. So there's clear first choices in most of the positions in the Fijian fullback in terms of guys who get 50% or more of the minutes. And some of these guys are like 80%. Very, very relied upon guys. The back line is less so like one-sided, but 9 and 10 are still very, very first choice. 9 is Kuravoli. He gets 3/4 of the minutes with the youngsters Y and Baselala as the other two guys. Baselala is only like 21 years old, so certainly one for the future. It was good to give him a bit of a taste. But Kuravoli is out and out, your first choice number 9 for Fiji. And then Caleb Muntz as well at 10. So Kuravoli and Muntz, they are as key to you guys as Ikanaveri, as Thanakai Vata as well. They get huge minutes in their positions. The backups to Muntz have been Kimu Valatini, but he's again a bit the other end of the experience scale. He's in his 30s. And then Armstrong Ravula, who's been playing more fullback, but has played a little bit of 10 as well. Kind of saw what happened at the last World Cup because Caleb Muntz was the first choice guy and got injured right before. You would hate to see something like that happen again because he certainly is the number 1 choice by a mile. Midfield, less so. Midfield's more of a mix. Joshua Tuisova, he gets 40% of the minutes. I'm not sure about his availability for every game. Some of these guys who play in France or whatnot might not be available for every single game, but Tuisova, the big unit, he's a little bit older. He's outside that kind of under 30s profile, but geez, he's a good player. 42%. Tamani Valu, another 30-plus guy there. Sete Tamani Valu is there as your second choice. Tabuavo is there. Botitu is there. And then Kemu Valatidi, kind of token minutes for him. But interestingly, number 12 is a bit of a mixture. And 13 is likewise a mixture with Ravovo as your first choice. Remember, he spends a lot of time on the wing as well. Plus Mangala, Samu Vodre, Masi, and Tamani Valu very, very briefly. It's interesting, Yosefo Masi, you feel like his numbers have dropped a lot. I forget if he was injured or just out of form. I don't seem to remember him playing much Super Rugby this year, but yeah. Centre is a little bit more of a mix, like I say, compared to 9 and 10. Wings, you guys have got wings for days. First choice, second choice, third choice. They're all going to be pretty good choices. Wainingolo, first choice on the left wing. Loganamasi, second choice. Nasova, third choice. Mangala, fourth choice. Rokuro, fourth choice. And then Celeste Reasi spent like a minute at the end of the game where he shifted to left wing from fullback. And then right wing is that man Ravovo again. Ravovo between midfield and right wing has been ever present as well. He's getting like 90% of the game time as well. And then Rakuru, Ravatamanda, Nasova, Mangala, and Loganamasi as well. So genuinely on both wings, you have a really good mixture, and you got guys who can play midfield and wings as well. So I think you'd be pretty comfortable with the outside backs. Fullback Celeste Reasi has gone from Fijian debut to being the first choice fullback in 2025 with 40% of the game time. Armstrong Avula, different player. More of that kind of playmaking option at fullback is second. Loganamasi is there as well. Tuisuvu, Valatini, and then Mangala very briefly as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of backs. You guys have got a lot of depth in backs. I feel like most teams have used more forwards, but Fiji has used a lot of backs this year. You're more reliant on the core guys in the forwards. First choice guys, like I'm talking about, you guys just seen them. Ikanaveri, Indonge, Thanakai Vata, Maui as well, Viliami Mata, Kuravoli, Muntz, I mean, even you could say Ravovo and Wainingolo as well. There's a bunch of guys who are like 50% plus. Nasila Sila too, and Mayana Vanua. Very, very key players in their first choice. It's good. Like, the plus side is you build the cohesion. These guys are used to playing together. You get chemistry that you don't get from chopping and changing, but it just is higher risk if one of them goes down, injured. I said the core is under 30. I'm talking about Maui on the loose head is only 29. Ikanaveri is 26. Nasilisila is 26. Vose is 22. Wanga is 26. Thanakavata is 29. Kuravoli is 26. Muns is 26. Revolver is 27. Wainingolo is 26. Rayas is only 29. You got a heap of players who probably are only peaking or haven't quite hit their peak just yet. The average age of the squad is around about 27, which is kind of a nice number. They're a little bit on the young side, but come 2 years' time, it could be a real threat. And you have seen some of the kind of more senior guys who you might usually expect, like Naothalev was retired, Randrandra hasn't appeared, he's in his 30s as well now, Botia hasn't appeared, so there's been a few guys either retiring or not available or potentially not needed in this Fijian squad. But yeah, I think they've looked pretty good this year. They won the Pacific Nations Cup again, and they put some other teams into a good fight, man. Like, against England, their game was close for 60 minutes. Against France, they had a really nice comeback after being down early. So you do have to wonder what Fiji will do with more game time. But remember, with this new Nations Cup League, whatever it is, competition getting underway next year, Fiji will get more cracks at other teams. And they do all this largely not at home. They only play 2 games at home this year, Scotland and Tonga. So much of it's on the road. Yeah, interesting times. I hope you guys appreciated getting Fiji on a depth chart. I haven't done Fiji before, like I said. If you did, like it, subscribe, and tell your friends. Be nice to get a few viewers on it, and then encourage me to do Fiji and depth charts in the future. I probably should, because they're a fun team to watch, and they're really a high-ranked rugby team. So, yeah, that's Fiji for 2025. You guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.